Well, as is now clear to everybody, the Liberal National Party in Queensland is under new management. David Crisafulli, the new leader, is a 41-year-old who was born and raised in Ingham. He's got a Bachelor of Journalism from James Cook University. He is the member for the seat of Broadwater, which is on the Gold Coast. And at the election 2.5 weeks ago, he increased his margin by 11%. Now, he knows he's got a battle on his hands. The proof of the enormity of the battle lies in the election results. The Liberal National Party under Deb Frecklington targeted 10 electorates where their quote-unquote strategists thought they'd have a chance of knocking off Labor. In all of the 10 electorates, Labor picked up swings. And in one of them, the Gold Coast seat of Gavin, the 27-year-old Megan Scanlon, now promoted to Cabinet by Annastacia Palaszczuk, in Gavin, there was a 7.6% swing to Labor. The difficulty for 41-year-old David Crisafulli is that there's a stack of cleaning up to do. And all those marginal seats prior to October 31 are now relatively safe Labor. Nonetheless, there's not a bad team. Crisafulli joins 42-year-old Deputy David Jeannette. Jeannette's family, as I've told you, had a farm not far from ours. He's very well credentialed. He has honours degrees in economics and law from the University of Queensland. He'll now be the Shadow Attorney General, Shadow Treasurer and Shadow Minister for Justice. I might add, Jeannette also holds an A. in piano. Now, this team could well do some significant damage to the Palaszczuk government and early. I mean, it's a long haul, 4 years in front of them. However, Crisafulli's begun well. At the weekend, he served it up to the Palaszczuk government and simply said, release the COVID-related health advice. Sensibly, he said he didn't know whether the borders should be opened or not. Whether South Australia, they've closed them to South Australia, but he said, let me see the advice. The new opposition has no problems talking to this program, unlike his predecessor, and he joins him at the Gold Coast. David Crisafulli, congratulations. You've hit the ground running.
Thanks, Alan. Thanks for having me.
Not at all. Now, you've written to Premier Palaszczuk requesting a briefing from the Chief Health Officer, Jeannette Young. Good luck. I bet you haven't received an answer.
No, I haven't, but I won't be critical. It's only been a couple of days, but I think it's fair enough that I asked for that briefing, and I think it's fair enough that Queenslanders see that briefing. So people will accept decisions if you don't treat them like mushrooms. So at the moment, we've got a game of footy coming in the next couple of days. So I want to see the health advice that says it's okay to go to the footy, but it's not okay to walk your kid into prep and put a kiss on their cheek and say, well done on the first day of school. That's what's annoying the buggery out of people. People want to know the decision, why it's been taken, and if you take them on a journey and be honest with them, you've got a better chance of them following.
Brilliant. Outstanding comments. Say it again. This is the guts of it. Firstly, I think you're saying, well, I can't say whether the border should be open or not. I can't see the health advice. Show me the advice. But Lang Park or Suncorp Stadium is going to be full. That's not a problem. But you taking your kids to school, you have to stop at the gate. You can't go inside.
Yeah, and I'm not begrudging anyone going to the footy and having a beer. Far from it. I want to see every opportunity for us to be as normal as possible. And all along, I've said that we have to find a balance in this. But people want to know the truth. Now I've written to the Premier and I've asked for that advice. When I get that advice, that'll then formulate our way forward. But I tell you what, Alan, it's time for us to pivot beyond this, because long after coronavirus is dealt with, one way or another, either vaccine or we learn to live with it, long after that occurs, people are going to be asking the questions economically, and that is, how are we going to get our kids a job? So what is our strategy to get the tourism industry off its knees and promote our point of difference? How are we going to build water infrastructure in this state and allow a farmer to make a living? How are we going to stop demonising the mining and agricultural industries that have been the backbone of this state for a generation? They're the questions that people will ask into the future, and I am going to make economics and the economic recovery of Queensland front and centre of the election in 2024. And if we do our job, people will be in no doubt that the government needs to change, and they will be in no doubt that there will be a good, long-term Conservative government in this state, and heaven knows we need one.
Good on you. Now, look, while you're asking questions, can you find out what the name of the great medical pioneer, Lady Phyllis Cilento, had her name removed from the exterior of Queensland's leading paediatric hospital? Dr David Cilento, the Sun, said he was devastated. This was in 2018. And as the Sun said, the hospital only opened 6 years ago. His mother's legacy has been destroyed. This woman is a brilliant Queenslander. She had 6 children. She lectured in mothercraft at the University of Queensland. She was a pioneer for women wanting to raise a family and have children, and she had a profound impact on women's health. She was the first Queensland Mother of the Year, and she's a life member of the Australian Medical Association. This is historic vandalism, David.
It is, Alan, and there's an image that will remain in my mind for a long, long time. And it's a young kid getting treatment in a corridor, in the kitchen, at the time when they were spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to take that name down. I say to the Cilento family, keep the faith, because your mother's legacy will be restored. This is the same mob that are tearing down a dam as we speak. The last dam built in Queensland nearly 20 years ago, and they're ripping it down because they don't know how to manage risk. We're going to hold them to account on that. Now, I'm also the sort of person that if they do the right thing, I'll be the first to say, yep, good on you, we'll support that. Where they do the wrong thing, we won't be afraid to take it up to them. And more than that, we'll be putting forward an alternate point of view, and every one of those point of view will sheet back to what it means here in Brisbane, in George Street, what it means to your family, what it means to your kids, how we're going to get the state going, and how we are going to chart a course for economic revival. That's what we are going to do for the next 4 years.
Good on you. We'll have an opportunity to explain all of that on this program. We'll talk to you again next week. Good stuff. You've done a great job. A good start. There he is. Produce the piece of paper. You've heard me saying this for weeks and weeks. What do you think?